Hello and welcome to You Talking to Me. Roughly 11,000 migrants have been so far relocated from Italy and Greece to other EU countries. They should be more than 100,000 by the end of the year. So it's still a long way to go. What is to expect from European solidarity right now? That's our topic today, and we are going to discuss it with Beata Plomecka from Polskie Radio. Hello. Nikola Miladinov from Bulgarian National Radio.
Welcome. You, Danièle, to having me again.
And more journalists from our network will join us later to give us their view. Beata, Poland so far didn't take in any migrants. It was supposed to take in more than 6,000, but nothing happened so far. Is that the last word of the Polish government?
The Polish government, this government and the previous one also kept saying that we should actually also look at the migration crisis in a more broader way. And especially this government is pressing for the so-called elective, flexible solidarity or effective solidarity, meaning in the migration crisis, you don't only take refugees, but you also protect the borders, the external borders of the European Union. This is what Poland is helping. I mean, sending soldiers and people to protect its external borders, and also paying some contributions, financing, giving financial support to the countries just to fight the migration crisis at the root causes, meaning in Africa. This is the stance. It will not change. Especially now, when Slovakia last year started discussions, the Slovakian presidency started discussions in the European Union based on the so-called effective solidarity. Malta didn't agree with the paper presented by Slovakia, but as far as I know, the discussions are on this paper presented last year. There are 3 steps just to fight the migration crisis, and also financial support and external borders are included in that. Taking refugees, according to Poland, is not the only way to fight.
But there is this agreement about the 6,000, and there is again and again a call on solidarity from other EU countries. Does the government feel any pressure here, or is it really, is it safe that it's just going to continue like this?
Well, there is, of course, pressure in the European Union, but not only on Poland, but also on other countries. Slovakia and Hungary also went to the European Court of Justice, saying that it was illegal to imposing the quotas on the member states, yes. Still pending case in the European Court of Justice. So no doubt that these countries feel the pressure. However, they feel that they have arguments presenting them at the European level. They hope that they will be simply understood. And also you have to take in mind that what the governments from these countries are saying, this is somehow reflection of the public opinion. The public opinion in these countries, the societies in the West, in the Eastern Central European countries are rather, I would say, close ones. I mean, they don't have the past like the Western countries with all these colonies in Africa. They are rather used to the same culture, the same religion. It is really hard to fight with, especially with the older generation. So
speaking of that and speaking of these habits, and there have been more than once worries expressed towards taking in Muslim migrants. Now we have a new president in the United States, and we all know about the travel ban he just decided on, and there has been a positive reaction from Visegrad countries on that.
From Czech Republic, I heard from Hungary as well. The Polish government, I heard the Polish foreign minister, he said that this is the decision of the sovereign country. This is a decision of the democratically elected president. That the Polish government will not comment on that. This is also but I also heard it in some other Western countries that the authorities of each member state have the right to say something on the migration policy. And for the Muslim refugees, I'll also note one thing. Many Poles went to some Western countries after 2004 when there was the big enlargement. They live here. They live in Belgium, they live in France, they live in the UK. They live in the poorer, some of them live in poorer districts together with the Muslims. And they come back to Poland and they say, look, what France, especially now after the terrorist attacks, it was also said, France didn't manage to cope with the migrant flows. There are ghettos. The people are not integrated, and especially the schools, for example, for children, they are not at good level. So we don't want to have it the same in Poland. This is the argumentation.
Okay, still, it's the comments from the official, from the EU leaders were different. They were not welcoming the ban because, of course, it's against European values. Also, Nikola, in Bulgaria was also a country that expressed somehow worries towards Muslim migrants. So has there been has Trump's travel ban triggered positive reactions in your country?
I'm not quite sure about positive reactions, but certainly there has any condemnation from the part of the political elite. And you have to bear in mind that even though Bulgarian politicians from the ruling parties, from the opposition parties, tend to talk against the migration flows, Bulgaria has never been formally against any of the proposal put forward by the European Commission. We voted for the quota system from Italy and Greece, and actually, our strategic interest is more comparable with the Greek one and the Italian one than the Visegrad group, because we are neighboring Turkey. But internally, it is ironic because the political elite is difficult to explain this to the public. Instead, they continue to speak negatively towards migration, towards illegal migrants. They make a mixture between refugees and illegal migrants. They tend to emphasize more on the illegal migration, and it's obvious from a media point of view that when you film with camera mothers with children, it's much more easier to provoke solidarity from the public opinion. But when you shoot with the camera a bunch of 100 young men from Afghanistan who are throwing stones in a facility center for refugees or migrants, it's far more difficult to provoke any sympathies.
But there are also more and more migrants coming from Turkey to the Bulgarian border. It has been the government expressed also its concerns, but still it sticks to the EU-Turkey agreement. It doesn't ask for another plan.
There has been some talks from the former foreign minister of Bulgaria about the Plan B, but this is too populistic, according to me, because everything Bulgaria needs is already on the table, because we are talking about faster returns from illegal migrants, tightening the border controls. We have already the new border guard agencies from the European Union in place in Bulgaria. But instead of encouraging the other member states to do their job, to continue to push forward the legislation, especially the Dublin reform, which is in total interest of Bulgaria, not to be the first country responsible for the asylum seekers, no more. Bulgaria continues with this rhetoric like the Visegrad group, but it never votes with them in the council when it comes to adoption of legislation.
So there is a double language here. Let's turn to Italy, the country that last year had a record number of arrivals. 180,000 refugees came via the Mediterranean. 90% came from Libya. And ahead of the summit of EU leaders in Malta, the European Commission was proposing some measures linked to Libya. We are with Gigi Donelli from Radio 24. Gigi, the European Commission proposed some measures aimed at stemming migration flows from Libya. Italy was asking for that since a long time. Do these measures go far enough for Italy? Is Italy satisfied with the proposal?
Hello to you. Yes, actually, the first answer I would say to your question is absolutely yes. Italy wants traditionally an agreement with the Libyan side, and this is very simply because of the geography of those two countries. So the large majority of a non-controlled flux of migrants or else are coming from the long coast of Libya. So yes, the approach is absolutely that. Unfortunately, as we know, it's not the first time that we take or we look for an agreement with Libya and then things develop in a very different way.
2.2 million euro from European money are meant to spend to assist Libyan coast guards in collaboration with the Italian Interior Minister. High Representative for Foreign Affairs Federica Mogherini expressed some worries that these funds might disappear without control. So, Gigi, what's the Italian experience in terms of collaboration with the Libyan authorities?
The risk, as Federica Mogherini expressed, the risk that 2.2 million euro may be lost or just disappear without control is absolutely serious. And this is connected to the story of this relation. We don't have to forget that today we are facing a country that it's absolutely shared by two different powers with more interest and a group of interest, with a very important, let's say, role of the oil companies. So absolutely the risk is there, and the control and the experience of Italy in collaboration with the Libyan side is white and dark depending on the specific issue.
Thank you, Gigi. And let's go to the second country of the EU deeply touched by the so-called migration crisis. It's Greece, obviously. We are with Stavros Samouilidis from Skai Radio. Hi, Stavros.
Hello, Danièle.
Stavros, about 8,000 refugees from Greece have been relocated so far to another EU country. The lack of solidarity is one thing. The administrative hurdles in Greece is another thing. Many refugees were complaining that they have to wait very long time before the procedure actually gets started. Stavros, why is this still so, and is the government taking measures against that?
Well, actually, as you can imagine, it all gets down to the personnel deployed on the islands. In fact, Greece has about 500 people specialized in processing demands, while the European Asylum Support Office, EASO, has sent, for the moment, only 250 people. So it has promised to double the number in the coming months, but we still see where the problem is, that there are not enough people to process all the demands. What is more, if you look at demands rejected on the first instance and gotten on a second judicial instance, it gets even more obvious that Greece still lacks the means to quickly and efficiently deal with demands. From a few thousand demands rejected every 3 months, you get only a couple of demands that are processed and go on the second level.
Thank you, Stavros. Last but not least, we are almost at the end. We turn to Germany, where the election campaign is about to start. And we are with Claudia Knoppke from MS. Claudia, no doubt migration will be one of the main topics during this campaign. Will Angela Merkel, the current chancellor who is running again, will she change her attitude?
Well, I would say it remains a kind of slippery path for her, or obstacle run, if you might say, for several reasons. First, she has to win against Martin Schulz, and for now he's quite popular. And as a self-declared fighter for Europe, the refugees will remain, of course, a topic in his campaign. Schulz is calling for more solidarity and threatens the unwilling with cuts of EU funding. So Merkel has to have the migration on her agenda. And in Germany, for example, one of her strongest opponents regarding migration until now was Horst Seehofer. He is the leader of the CDU sister party. But he said recently, we fully support Angela Merkel as the next chancellor, but remains. Seehofer still wants limitation for refugees and changes for the EU. So she has to find a way in between. And Merkel herself, she underlined after the entry ban of Trump 2 days ago, the fight against terrorism doesn't justify to put people with a special religion or origin under general suspicion, and for her that contradicts the idea of international refugee help. So following her own idea, her own statement, this attitude, migration will remain on the agenda for sure until September.
Okay, thank you, Claudia. Thank you for joining us despite the cold you have. We can hear that. This is the end of this show. Thank you, Beata, for joining us. Thank you, Nikola. Thank you all, and see you soon on You Talking to Me.